I see it.
You're lying. Turn me up. All right. Super Bowl Sunday. Who turned up?
Let's go Eagles.
Crazy. From Alabama, but cheering for the Dirty Birds.
My mama was an Eagles fan.
I'm about to say, nothing wrong with the Eagles.
Yeah, because she liked the quarterback.
That boy Jalen Hurts got the hardest bling out here. Bling, bling.
Come
on, Jazz. Come on, Jazz. And Jinx, you on me or something. You thought you was asleep there.
It's in my song, so you owe me a nickel. Royalty. Stop playing. So today's topic.
Oh, gosh.
How fitting.
How exciting.
Is everything demonic? Ooh. It's scary. Ooh. So, what y'all think? Do y'all think everything is demonic, or what? Is there
like it really
just
depends on how people interpret it, because not everything can be demonic.
Mm-hmm.
It just really like how you portray it. Like, you know, musicians. Musicians. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians, like when they do they music videos and stuff like that, sometimes it'd be like, you know, slight little symbols and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, sometimes to certain people they're not gonna see it, but like if you really pay attention, you can see it. Especially if you listen to the lyrics all the way.
Are you saying that they are demonic, or sometimes they're not demonic?
I was gonna say it like maybe could be like the people, because everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything not demonic. Maybe some people are, or some people dabble in it. You know, worship him or something like that. That's why they portray it. Who is him? I don't like saying his name.
I'm crying. Is everything demonic, Dreezy? Or are people just evil out here? What's the deal?
I say yes to both. People are evil out here, and majority of everything is kind of demonic.
No.
So, yes and yes.
Interesting. Mama, what you think?
No, I don't think everything is demonic. I think people make things demonic. Because the word says born into sin, but that means because of what has happened in the past, that a newborn is born into sin because what was there already. But I think people make things demonic.
Can I get an example of how somebody or a group of people have made something demonic?
It's a lot of things out here that people can. If a person looking at something does not have a pure heart, they can always turn something around. I give you an example I heard today. A man owns a business, and he took some of the money to start feeding homeless vets and posted it on social media. Someone viewing that on social media turned around and was like, oh, that man he gave the food to wasn't a vet, and we've been donating money. Where's our money at? So a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon and was saying the same thing. That man had a successful business, but because of that snippet, whether it was verified or not, turned his business upside down. So I don't think everything is demonic. It's the people that put the demonic connotation or something on, whether it's verbiage, whether it's an action or anything like that, because of what's going on within them. That's just like positive and negative. It's hard for a 100% or 89% negative person to see any positive in anything.
I was gonna say, like, some people be trying to, like, from the movie VHS tapes, like the cult part. They be trying to make cults seem like they with God and they doing all this for their religion. But then in the background is very satanic and demonic underneath all of it.
So it be sounding like you be trying to say you on one side or the other, but then you say both. So we gonna get into it and we gonna see where you at afterward. It's a lot of demons out here.
That's why you always gotta stay prayed up and ask for the full armor.
Yeah, been water gun full of holy water.
What? So we're gonna start at the beginning.
I would give an example, but I can't because we don't lie. So I can't.
That's always because we don't lie. Let's turn to Genesis chapter 1. Mama, can you read verse 31 for me?
I don't have my eyes on today.
That's not what
Genesis what?
Chapter 1, verse 31, the last verse. Is it when you get old, you able to take your eyes out and like put them on the counter, or
yes.
is this a syllogism?
You didn't get my light.
Is this supposed to mean something else?
Okay.
I don't think I understand. She doesn't wear glasses. I don't.
You don't have to. You don't have to explain that to no one.
She used to wear glasses, but then
I'm gonna have to cut all this out. I'm just talking to the chat. What up, chat? This like when Lil JJ was like freeze and he would step outside of his body. Everybody else not a part of it. Oh. Everybody else not a part of this.
God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day.
What does that mean to you? What you just read?
What do you mean? What part of it?
All of it.
Want me to dissect it?
Yes, please.
Everything that God had made. When he said, let there be light, and he was doing everything that he was doing, and it was all good. Like, I did a good job. Everything looks good. Everything in its place.
So, I agree. But I think to go further, I would like to emphasize that he didn't say there was any bad. So, God made the world perfect. He made humans perfect, right? It's kind of what that sounds like, right?
No. Well, no. I can't say no without going even deeper.
Oh, well, let's read the next one and see if it allows you to go deeper, because I'm gonna ask anyway. So, Dreezy, can you read chapter 3, verses 1-6 for me? This is going to introduce the fall, the temptation and the fall. 1-6.
Well, I really like this Bible. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, that's a part of it. Yes, we ready.
And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of this tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we are to eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall certainly not die, for Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate.
So
6, right?
Yes. So in this context, or believing the way we believe, it's not about the way we feel, it's about what God says. So in this context, free will is in the realm of perfection. So were you going to say that because of free will, humans aren't perfect? Mama,
What?
you missed all that?
Because of free will.
Humans aren't perfect? Is that what you were going to say?
Because of free will, there was the ability or the opportunity for bad. Because
Yes.
you said he didn't say that anything was bad. He said it was all good.
Mm-hmm.
But because of free will, there left the opportunity for bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was going with that.
Perfection until opportunity taken. Which
take away free will,
didn't last
there is no opportunity.
But then there is no love in that. So that's where
I wasn't saying that.
That's where we at with it. And we also see that there's no force from either side. Either God gave his command, hey, you eat of all these, take dominion of the earth, just don't eat of this one tree. And the serpent says, hey, what he said isn't completely true. He only told you don't eat of this tree because your eyes going to be open. So there's no yes.
I have a question to that.
What's the question?
So your parent, God, tells you not to do something because of whatever. Is it necessary for your parent to give you all the information for you to listen?
It's not.
I can't bring work into this. Okay.
In reality, it's not, but practically, especially as a child, I can't even say especially as a child and as a grown-up with trauma and ingrained practices, it's tough to just go along with what anybody says, no matter what the authority position is. But in reality, no, because I should look at you as a person that has experienced these things and you have my best interest at heart. So yeah.
Relative word should.
Should. And so we see in this that the fruit probably wasn't really the issue, right? The choices here is you either follow God, you do what God says, or you follow your own temptations or the enemy's coercion. And we also see that punishment follows sinful choices. We know what happens further along. We don't have to read that, right? We know what happens. We live in that. So let's jump to Genesis chapter 6. And Jasmine, I would like for you to read verse 4 for me. It start getting real juicy.
In those days and for some time after, giant Nephilim.
What it say?
Nephilim.
Nephilis.
I don't know what it looks like in your book.
Nephilites.
What?
I want to tell a joke. We all done seen Norbit, right? What's the name of the club? They were trying to open. That's what that sounds like. All right. It sounds like Nephilitis, but I haven't heard that one before. That's probably like
Nephilim in mine. That's what I said.
It's Nephilim in mine too. That's an interesting one. We're gonna have to look into that and see what language they speaking. But keep going.
Giant Nephilites lived on the earth for whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women. They gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times.
What do you understand from that, Jasmine? What did you? I told you it get juicy. You read intercourse kind of crazy. You was like, what? Look, tell me what you got from that.
So, because I feel like I've heard this story of fallen angels like coming down and having
yeah, we didn't tap on it a couple times.
Having sex with women and getting them pregnant, and then giants was all born and stuff.
Nephilitis, Nephilites, whatever language.
So it's like
I used to go through that process.
I feel like that
probably because I had like
was the punishment, but at the same time,
the punishment is them having giants. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. I didn't at first. That's tough. Okay, keep going.
So
it took
it's
me
like,
a minute to catch that
because it's like it's unhuman and it kind of throws off the balance because it's like you're not human and then it's like you're not of
spiritual.
Yeah. So it's like, what are you?
So I'm glad you said that.
What did God have to do? He had to reset. Reset button real quick.
Interesting. Do y'all feel the same? He had to, because what are they?
Things went awry.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
definitely.
They caused a lot of problems.
That's what the deal is.
And things happened that he did not intend
to happen.
And intermingling and all because
he said it had to go kaboom.
Do you think that's how coveting, how those things came about?
Coveting,
greed, all of those things because of.
Ooh.
We're gonna get to that.
Oh God.
I told them already it was gonna get.
You gotta stop talking to me because
I mean that's literally the next thing.
I'm
though,
on
so
one today, so you gotta stop talking to me. Let me listen.
I mean, she said something too that I had written down.
And we already talked that we wanted this to go through fast, so get all your questions.
Yeah, people ain't nobody even in this right now. Everybody getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we do what we do.
They like, we're gonna catch the recap and post it.
So yes, they were hybrid spirit human. So God had to figure out,
kaboom,
how to expel them first from life, and then deal with them in the afterlife, because they can't go to heaven or hell because you hybrid.
So where do we put you?
Yeah. So I think it's also really interesting. It kind of sucks that this happened in the first 2,000 years of the earth. Like, we really barely turned the moon and angels came down
and they're saying, and I was about to say a lot of
mucked up the whole situation.
A lot of spiritual Instagrams be trying to post saying like, and God had the fallen angels chained down and they held underneath the earth somewhere.
We getting there too. So I want you, Mama, turn to Jude chapter 1, and Dreezy, can you turn to 2 Peter chapter 2? So since you brought it up, Mama, we gonna get into it.
Do I need to turn anything?
Nah, not yet. Too cool. So I brought up the first book of Enoch. Because yes, it is. A lot of people give some validity to the book of Enoch being Jewish literature in general, not necessarily all of it being true, but it does give some perspective to biblical writing, and also writers of the Bible reference the book of Enoch. So there is some truth to it as well. So you brought up how maybe greed and what was it, envy, and some of those other so-called deadly sins could have come from these disembodied spirits or these fallen angels, mama. That's what you said, right? You be turning pages and don't be listening.
I was reading. I'm sorry.
The book of Enoch details what you were asking earlier. In chapter 7, I'm going to start reading at verse 1. And they took wives for themselves, and everyone chose for himself one each. And they began to go into them and were promiscuous with them. And they taught them charms and spells, and they showed them the cutting of roots and trees. And they became pregnant and bore large giants, and their height was 3,000 cubits.
Must have been some big babies.
What book is it? Oh,
First Enoch. Yeah.
That's what he said.
These devoured all the toil of men until men were unable to sustain them. And the giants turned against them in order to devour men. And they began to sin against birds and against animals and against reptiles and against fish. And they devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood from it. Now, what I think is really interesting about this, now people have done, deep dives into this and why this mean that. And I'm leaning to that side. I've read these things, and I'm not necessarily a historian, so I got other stuff to do, job and whatnot, be making music. But it seems as though these giants back then were mixing genetics and creating hybrid animals and hybrid humans, which is where Greek mythology and Norse mythology come from. Exactly, yeah. It's really interesting. But then that also makes those a part of this situation, this fallen situation, these disembodied spirits, because they're hybrids. What do we do here?
Kaboom.
So God had an answer for it. But first, let's see what God did with these angels that impregnated these humans. Mama, can you read Jude for me? Jude chapter 1, right? Verse 6. Is that where we are? Is that what I said? Yeah, Jude 1:6.
And the angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling, this he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day.
That's interesting. Teresa, can you read 2 Peter for me?
I'm sorry, I'm not joining you. I'm going to turn it to 2 Peter.
I am.
2 Peter 2:4.
Jude was James' brother.
Chapter 2, verse 4.
They say Jude probably was James. You're saying Jesus' brother, right?
James' brother.
James is Jesus' brother. Tracy, can you read 2 Peter 2:4?
Or if Yahweh did not spare the messenger who sinned, but sent them to
Gehenna? Is that I wasn't there? Okay, yeah.
And delivered them into chains of darkness to be kept for judgment.
So
that's a wild word.
Gehenna.
Yeah.
It's what hell is in Hebrew. That's what they
But it's wild because a lot of people be saying gay people go to hell. So that's why I say it's wild.
I never made that connection, bro. That's crazy.
Made that after you said it was hell. What do you do?
I don't think about gay people like that.
I was about to say, I instantly.
That's why I bust down started laughing.
Because I instantly thought about it as soon as he said it. And then in my book, it says hell. So that's why I knew the word meant hell.
So if God chained these angels that left heaven in eternal darkness, wherever this eternal darkness is, would they be able to influence or torment us nowadays or anytime afterwards?
I don't know.
Spirits.
But they were already spirits because they fallen angels. So if God chained them up, I'm sure he made sure, to chain them up spiritually. Whatever that means.
Unless they have.
You haven't seen Supernatural?
I don't. No, I don't do that. I don't do that.
I was gonna say, unless they have
you probably should
influence through the mind sometimes, depending on who's not really connected to the Bible and God like that all the way might get. Depending on if they still have some type of mind or some type of power where they can,
I feel that.
Use it. So
that makes sense. I get that.
And then it's also crazy because somebody posted a video where they said they heard screaming in chains underneath the ground in the hole.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna jump to the flood. You brought it up, Jasmine. I would like for you to read that. It's going to be Genesis chapter 6 and read verses 11 through 13 for me.
All the way back in the chapter 6. Verse what again?
11 to 13. Yeah, 11 to 13.
Okay. Now God saw that the earth had become corrupted and was filled with violence. God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupted. So God said to Noah, I have decided to destroy all living creatures, for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth.
Dang.
Jesus.
Yeah, he said wipe like it was easy, like we a dry erase board.
Come on.
I mean,
no, it's the etch a sketch. Or
that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Wasn't that magnetic? I don't know. Swipe. That's.
You probably had a hose just.
I'm crying, but I mean, I'm sure it was that easy for them. So we already talked about the giants had to go, the hybrids had to go. But then we got to where do their spirits go now? Their hybrid spirits, because they can't go to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What happens to their spirits? They can't go to heaven or hell. Doesn't necessarily say they were sent anywhere.
Do they just roam around? And been roaming this whole time. That's why a lot of stuff have been happening crazy.
How interesting. So there is a bit of truth to these weirdo TV shows like Supernatural that y'all be talking about.
That's the point I was making.
About Stranger Things.
But I find way more drama in reading what actually happened.
That's why
God petty. I'm just gonna say
some things.
He's a little petty.
I wouldn't say petty.
Are in there.
I would say he's just and loving, because creatures were introduced that weren't supposed to be here, and through what I just read, they were eating humans and tearing apart, other animals. Exactly, and each other too. Tearing apart animals. It says sinning against nature and then drinking their blood. So it's like it's different from just killing them, because drinking their blood, sinning against nature. That's a bit descriptive, or not really.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So Yeah, so it kind of it was necessary. Now to talk about petty, I get it. I get it. You know, the judgment is righteous, but there was one time when David was transporting the Ark of the Covenant, and the trailer that it was on hit a rock, and like it shifted like it was about to fall off. And one of the priests went out to catch it. And when he touched it, he died, because you're not supposed to touch the Ark of the Covenant. And David went crazy. So, like, granted, things like that happen, but God is just. He said, don't touch it. So if it was going to fall, you should have just let it fall. Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah, just listen. I mean, granted, I can see how that can be looked at as petty, but I told you what to do, and you didn't listen to me.
I feel like the real petty one here is Peter, because he
okay, yeah, we can call Peter petty. Peter petty. Peter petty.
Peter be on saying for no reason sometimes.
So, like you said, I definitely.
Did you watch the Joseph?
I don't think so.
You should watch the Joseph.
I definitely think that the disembodied spirits of giants and hybrid animals, human animals, whatever, are roaming the earth right now, which people like to call ghosts or worship as gods, because they can communicate with them through, like we was talking about, thoughts, through coercion, influence, and sometimes even possession, where demons are actually inside of you, or these disembodied spirits, because that's what the Hebrew word literally translates to, disembodied spirit.
I don't know if you remember when I brought up, like, people was making these giant puppets, like human puppets, and people was all like, oh, the giants is back, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, they do look creepy. I agree with that, but that's not a giant, I don't think. But it is creepy.
I heard noises on the table and almost had a heart attack.
Mama, hit 1 Kings for me. Chapter 11. Now, I think that we can definitely categorize these disembodied spirits with, our modern term as demons, and just so we not saying all them syllables, because I'm lazy. But fallen angel may be a different category, because we're not necessarily sure if they can still influence us. They may have power to, infiltrate our mind and whatnot, being in chains, but we're not necessarily sure. Chapter 11, verse 41.
Verse 41 is crazy.
You did say 1 Kings, right?
Yes, 1 Kings. Chapter 11.
Okay, there we go.
Verse 41.
Should have just went to 12. You believe me.
Let's see what it say.
Yeah, let's see what it say. As for the other events of Solomon's reign, all he did and the wisdom he displayed, are they not written in the book of the Annals of Solomon?
Could you go to your table of contents and find that book for me, please?
What book?
Read the verse over again.
What book?
What it say in the verse?
I'm gonna give you the answer if you tell you what book.
It say book of your table of contents in the back. That's so weird.
I don't think it's in my table of contents. That's why I went to the back.
Where is my table of contents?
Because it has the foreword and all that other stuff.
Can somebody find that book for me, please? Because I would like to know what else Solomon did. I mean, Solomon was a really good king, right? He was supposed to be the wisest man, the richest of all the kings, right? It's David's son. I would like to know what else Solomon did. If obviously it's not all written in the Bible. I mean, not all in First Kings. Do. Let me not get a copyright.
Did he give
struck.
me the answer in my
I know, right?
Did he give me the answer in our Bible?
The answer to what?
Your question?
Yeah, no.
Where the book is?
It does not.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it does in any Bible. Oh, so nobody can find it? Oh, that's tough. So I had to do some digging because I ran across this and I was quite interested. So doing my due diligence, of course, when it comes to extra biblical sources, there's always I take things with a grain of salt. But then if the Bible talks about it and then that text supports the Bible in ways, I lean into it. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I accept it, but I lean into it. So here's what I found about Solomon's extra biblical book. In chapter, where was I at? Chapter 10. It says, let me go back. I'm sorry. I got to get to where he got the ring at. So the child took the ring. I was overjoyed. Okay, here. So chapter 5. Now, when I, Solomon, heard this, I entered the temple of God and prayed with all my soul night and day, that the demon might be delivered into my hands. So Solomon's fighting the demon, obviously, yes. And that I might gain authority over him. And it came about through my prayer that grace was given to me from the Lord by Michael, his archangel. He brought me a little ring having a seal consisting of an engraved stone and said to me, "Take, O Solomon, king, son of David, the gift which the Lord has sent thee, the highest. With it thou shalt lock up all demons of the earth, male and female, and with their help thou shalt build up Jerusalem. But thou must wear this seal of God, and this engraving of the seal of the ring sent thee is a pentalpha." Now, let me ask you a question. Have we ever heard the seal of Solomon or symbol of David, Star of David? Have we ever heard that phrase before?
Yeah,
I've heard of Star.
Yeah, let's say Star of David.
Okay. So that's not too, far-fetched then, huh? So let's jump down to when he uses the ring. Chapter 10. And when Solomon heard this, he rose up from his throne and went outside into the vestibule of the court of his palace. And there he saw the demon shuddering and trembling. And he said to him, "Who art thou?" And the demon answered, "I am called Orneus." And Solomon said to him, "Tell me, O demon, to what zodiacal sign thou art subject?" And he answered, "To the water pourer and those who are consumed with desire for the noble virgins upon earth. Y'all made a noise. I would like to know why.
Because when you said the
Zodiac?
Yeah, that it was close to the zodiac sign. But the water part is what I'm trying to think, because in it, it's talking about Michael's eye.
Yeah. Sucks, doesn't it? And that's why we don't claim those. You made a sound, Mama. What was your sound for? I'm sure you didn't have the same question that Jasmine had.
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh, okay.
I knew what it was in reference to.
Mm-hmm. Just stand up for 2 minutes.
Does that make you think about anything in your daily life?
As far as the sign, the astrological?
As far as the connection between zodiac signs and this demon, or that zodiac signs are connected.
I run into a lot of people that rely heavily on that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that means for those people?
But that ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Because people can read, if they're looking to have something to believe in, they can read anything or make it fit their life just because they're already looking for something without doing a full research and investigation of something, its origin, its purpose, things like that.
Yeah. So
Where's my child?
Malia?
No.
Turn your head.
You talking about me?
No.
What are you talking about?
She's not on here today.
China?
Yeah.
She didn't answer the phone.
Well, last time I talked to her.
Yesterday.
Okay.
So we saw in Enoch that crafts, charms, and spells, cutting roots and trees was taught by giants and fallen angels.
I can't touch it.
And we see that what it's explaining is alchemy. So it's more so like healthcare and mixing organic material and non-organic material, expecting a spiritual outcome. Yeah. So we see that some of these kind of like basic borderline everyday things are controlled by demons. I mean, we haven't gotten really as far as I want to even in the other one, but so does that change your mind about the question in the beginning, whether everything is demonic or not?
No, it does not.
A little bit of mine. Because now it makes me feel like, now everything could be, because we have these fallen angel spirits roaming around. These hybrid spirits roaming around. So they could be getting into some stuff.
It gets crazy. So I'm going to continue. He says, and those who are consumed with desire for the noble virgins upon earth, these I strangle. But in case there is no disposition to sleep, I am changed into 3 forms. Whenever men come to be enamored of women, I metamorphose myself into a comely female, my bad. And I take hold of the men in their sleep and play with them. And after a while, I again take my wings and hide in the heavenly regions. I also appear as a lion, and I am commanded by all the demons. I am offspring of the archangel Uriel, the power of God.
Leo. Are you still describing zodiac signs?
That was still that demon that's over the zodiac sign, yeah. But I'm gonna go to another one though. I mean, did y'all have any comments on the rest of that?
That just took me by
The rest.
surprise.
This demon be playing with men in their sleep.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And it's a boy. Did you catch that?
What I was about to say.
It's a boy that turned into a girl that like to play with boys.
It turned into a lion.
He got a show.
It remind me of an episode of Charmed that I watched.
Who got a show? You made me feel. You're hilarious. What'd you say, Dreezy?
It remind me of an episode of Charmed that I watched.
I can't watch these shows, bro. I can't.
But no, because that way you dissect what isn't fact that they put in there just for entertainment.
Yeah.
And differentiate between, okay, they put a snippet of the truth in here. Okay.
It'd be easy.
So.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read chapter 17 now.
What book are you reading?
This is the Key of Solomon. The Greater Key of Solomon. And when she was come, I said to her, this is another demon, a girl demon this time. Who art thou? But she said to me, I am called Onoskelis, a spirit wrought, lurking upon the earth. There is a golden cave where I lie, but I have a place that ever shifts. At one time, I strangle men with a noose. At another, I creep up from the nature to the arms. But my most frequent dwelling places are the precipices, caves, ravines, oftentimes. However, do I consort with men in the semblance of a woman, and above all with those of a dark skin. For they share my star with me, since they say it is, wow.
Scorpio?
Hold on, I just had to pick that up. Since it is who privily or openly worship my star, without knowing that they harm themselves, but whet my appetite for further mischief. For they wish to provide money by means of memory, but I supply a little to those who worship me fairly.
That sounds like a Scorpio to me.
It does it? That's
does.
interesting.
It does.
Jesus.
Call it what you want to. It's a demon that's behind it. Not here for it. Can't associate with it. And I just want to read one more for y'all and get y'all thoughts on that, and we can hop back into the Bible. So chapter 22. It says, and I, Solomon, on hearing this, bound him more carefully and ordered him to be flogged with thongs of oxhide. This is another demon because he's acting, or he told him, like, can't no other demon control me, or you not gonna be able to control me. Your reign only gonna last a little while. He was being pretty rude. Yeah. But I think it's really interesting though that it says that Solomon was able to whoop him. Now again, we taking this, grain of salt.
With a belt?
I mean, it say flogged with thongs of oxhide. So you know what a flogger is? It's like a multiple
Strings.
Yeah, multiple string belt.
Wood
belt. Leather type situation.
With one handle?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it says oxide, so like stick. Okay.
The sex store?
And to tell me humbly what was his name and what his business. And he answered me thus, I am called Asmodeus among mortals, and my business is to plot against the newly wedded, so that they may not know one another. And I sever them utterly by many calamities, and I waste away the beauty of virgin women and estrange their hearts. Is everything demonic?
Yeah.
It seems like just about anything negative, a demon is behind it, around it, up on it, influencing it.
The creator and orchestrator? Is that what you?
of calamity and chaos, yeah. Not the one that we serve. Definitely not that. So what y'all think? Is everything demonic or
At this point, yeah.
I ended with you, Mama. So Dreezy, turn to Daniel chapter 10 for me. I didn't. She read First Kings.
Unless you trying to lie to your husband.
And I would like for you to read verses 12 and 13. Now we have read this story before, but just to, stack things up on the is everything demonic side of the argument, or everything is demonic side of the argument. I think this gives perspective.
Can you repeat what
Chapter 10, verses 12 through 13.
Okay, I'm ready.
We waiting on you?
Okay. And he said to me, do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you lay your heart to understand and humble yourself before Elohim, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the head of the rule of Paris withstood me 21 days, and see Michael, one of the chief's heads, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the sovereigns of Paris. That's it.
So now we saw in the text that we taken with a grain of salt that demons can fly. These disembodied spirits, these sons of angels and humans, can fly in the spirit realm for some reason. And this particular flying disembodied spirit was able to withstand a blessing that a prophet was praying for. Now, prophets are regular people, but we also kind of put prophets on a bit of a pedestal because they hearing directly from God, not because they're any better, but you're hearing directly from God. So like I kind of look up to you, but for you to be able to pray and it be blocked by a demon, I think that says a lot. So that I think that puts more on the side of everything is demonic, but it also puts things into perspective for us when it comes to waiting and being persistent about praying for the things that we want and need. So let's keep stacking the deck. Sin and demons cause illness. Y'all believe that? Well, if you believe that, then just pray it away, Jasmine. What's so funny? Sin and demons cause illness. You believe that?
For me.
Yeah. If you believe that, then just pray it away, Dreezy. Yeah, I swore you putting eye drops in it with you. Mama, you believe that? You ain't saying nothing. You just digging through the puzzle pieces. I'm just trying to see.
Okay, but you right now.
I feel like
my hair hurt. Y'all be like, take some medicine. No, I'm good. Talk to the Lord. I'm gonna get through it. Huh? Oh yeah.
No, it's the
first thing I tell you to do?
You want some coffee?
Oh, okay. Come correct it.
No, just because it's the first thing don't mean it don't come down the line. I'm listening. What you say?
I feel like it depends, like, on what it is, because a lot of people who worship and worship him and do all the sinning and everything, they do end up getting like sick. Why is he calling me right now? they end up kind of
Tell them hop in the live. Bible study.
Answer it. Put them in Bible study.
Because I'm not.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
So, have y'all ever seen the movie Split?
Yes.
So, there was a man like that man in the Bible.
Yeah.
See, y'all want me to go and watch this worldly stuff, but I can just go to the Bible and get the same thing. Like, what I'm even.
It smells like some burning in your house.
It does, big time. But
Somebody trying to cook.
I'm just going to ignore it and keep
I
it
just
going.
want
We on the top floor, too. If it go down, it just go down. God got us. We pray over it. Sin and the demons. Get it up out of here.
Okay.
Get it up out of here.
She said, God, give me wings. You ain't
So,
drink a Red Bull for that stuff.
Okay.
Dreezy, I had you read last.
Yes.
It's Jazz turn.
I was up
Mama,
in
can you turn to John chapter 5 for me, please?
Oh, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yes, ma'am.
Jonathan.
Ouch.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Okay.
There we go, John.
The one gospel that is not synoptic.
John something.
John 5.
Okay.
6 and something.
I'm not doing 316.
Jesus.
John 5.
I'm gonna call you later. I'm in Bible
It's
study.
a lot of Jesus talk.
It's 5. I'll call you back.
Jazz, turn to Mark chapter 5 for me.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry. Malia, where are you?
I'm just about to say, I'm really getting concerned because it really smells burnt now.
I don't know either.
You said
That's
Mark
crazy.
Chapter 5.
I'm concerned
Yes.
that something is on fire now.
For God has not given us a spirit of fear.
I don't know what verse.
You wasn't even at the last Bible study.
What
So
verse?
we're going to start at 1.
Oh.
I want you to read
Stop me from
1
knowing something that
to
you.
10.
Please.
Okay. Are we ready?
I thought we was in John chapter 5.
That's you.
That's
That's me.
for my mama. Yeah.
What
Go
Johnson gotta go?
Mark 10.
Oh.
I mean, so I'm sorry, Mark 5. And she reading 1 through 10.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
You gave me the wrong chapter there.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We're going to make it through.
Oh, well, I'm good. I'm already where I need to be.
All right. So they arrived at the other side of the lake in the region of the.
Mine say Gadarenes. I don't know what yours
Okay,
say.
I think that might be what mine
Okay.
say.
You just going to have to get up in there, Jasmine. We all got different Bibles.
I was trying to make sure because I didn't want to butcher it. And then,
You just got to get up in there, bro.
okay, Gadarenes. When Jesus climbed out of the boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit came out from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the burial caves and could no longer be restrained, even with a chain.
Hold on. Pause.
Wait a minute.
Pause. Have you ever seen the movie Split?
Yes.
With the dude with the personality.
Yeah.
You see what's going on, right? Bro said, get up off me. I'm the beast. Get up off me. So keep going.
Whenever he was put in the chains and shackles, as he often was, he snapped the chains from his waist and smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Day and night he wandered among the burial caves and in the hills, howling and cutting himself with sharp stones. This is giving very much werewolf vibes.
That's what it was.
Now, think about this though. It said he was cutting himself
With stones.
Does that mean? I mean, we already know that God has not given us a spirit of fear. We're not supposed to be anxious or depressed.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that there's another spirit behind you cutting yourself.
Yeah.
Mm. Keep on.
When Jesus was still some distance away, the man saw him, ran to meet him, and bowed low before him. With a shriek, he screamed, "Why are you interfering with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In the name of God, I beg you, don't torture me." For Jesus had already said to the spirit, "Come out of the man, you evil spirit." Then Jesus demanded, "What is your name?" And he replied, "My name is Legon."
Legion.
Legion.
Oh. No, that's not it. I was making
Melandra, why is he even playing games, bro?
Well, in my head, I was trying to say Legion, you know, that name that your mama used to call what's her face from Circle K? That's what I was thinking of in my head. But then Legion just came out. I was like, too.
It's Legion.
Legion.
Okay.
Legion.
Because there are many of us inside this man. Then the evil spirit begged him again and again not to send them to some distant place.
Now, what do you understand from what you just read? What's going on here, Jasmine?
It seems like this man is possessed by multiple spirits. Mm-hmm. And that's why he gets shackled by chains, but he ends up breaking them. Mm-hmm. So that's one spirit that gives him this weird strength, power, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then another one that got him cutting himself with stones and everything. Mm-hmm. But then I find it crazy that when you see Jesus, you run up to him and instantly just bow down, begging him not to torture you. And it's just like, I mean,
it worded it weird. This is my first time catching it too. It says that for he had said to him, "Come out of the man, unclean spirit," and yours says that he had already said to him. So that means like Jesus saw him from a distance and already said it, and then bro ran up to him and was like, "Why you interfering with me?" Yeah, it brought the "why you interfering" first for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, the interfering part, I'm like,
yeah.
What?
And then called him God and said, "By God, please don't torture me."
That's crazy. I just feel like either way he might have been battling real bad when these spirits took over him, and he just let them have his reign over his body at that point.
Mm-hmm. So does knowing that this seems like a mental illness, very possibly schizophrenia, because you know, Legion, we are many.
What you gonna say?
You breaking chains, people can't subdue you.
Yeah.
You living off by yourself. So with this seeming like it may be mental illness, but it's not necessarily the person that's behind it, it's a demon. Does that give you more sympathy for people that that deal with mental illness, or at least claim they deal with mental illness?
I mean, I feel like I've already had sympathy towards people like that. Because, you know, we got some people in our family that deal with it. So,
I mean, not just like the mentally retarding mental illnesses, but like schizophrenia and
you know,
what is it? ADHD, PTSD, and then the one where you don't.
ADD.
PTSD is a disorder.
It's mental. Post-traumatic
stress syndrome.
Yeah, trauma and stress is mental.
All right.
And then the one where you not really tapped into your decision making center or your anger center in your brain, so you can't you don't discern what's a bad decision or what's a good decision. Like that guy that was shooting people out the trunk. I don't remember what year or what area it was in.
And then It's also a disorder where people don't feel pain, so they be trying to go to any limits to see if they can feel any type of pain. Because a lot of people will like bite their finger and they don't feel nothing. Somebody even bite their finger off and said they didn't even feel that.
Or like Jeffrey Dahmer, they said he was dealing with some mental disabilities, but he killed all them girls. Would y'all have more sympathy for him knowing that that was the question? But you said you already had sympathy for people like that. So why wouldn't you have sympathy for somebody like him knowing that it's a mental disability and there's a demon behind those?
I mean, yes, but at the end of the day, you do have the will to, like,
Did he? Does he? He's controlled by many. He cutting himself with rocks. Rocks, Jasmine.
That's why I say he must have been dealing with something really bad that weakened his spirit to the point that the demons took over and he just let them take over. Now, I feel like if you have a stronger spirit and they tried it, then you probably will be able to fight longer and fight them off. And because some people feel like, because sometimes demons be trying to manipulate their mind, making people, make it seem like people saying stuff when they're not saying what they thinking. So it's like,
how does one combat that if they don't have the same love or access that you do? They don't have Bibles coming in the mail that people can just drop on them. They just hear a little bit of the word on TV and the rest of their life is pretty booty.
There's a church about 1.5 miles distance apart, depending on where you live.
You was silent this whole time.
That church around the corner put out coexist signs and had the pride flag up on they little light up sign in the front.
But that's where some of these people get some of these things from.
But I was about to say, but it's like it really depends on your will. Like if you have the will to fight it off, then you can. But if you don't and just give up and let the demons take over, then if I'm being honest, that's on you. It ain't got nothing to do with
me. Okay. Let's see how that goes. I'm gonna finish this story. In verse 11, it says, "Now a great herd of pigs was there, feeding near the mountains. And all the demons begged him, saying, 'Send us to the pigs, so that we enter into them.' And he gave them permission. And the unclean spirits came out and entered into the pigs. They were about 2,000. And the herd rushed down the steep place into the sea and drowned in the sea. And those who fed the pigs fled and reported it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what had taken place. So they came to Jesus and saw the demon-possessed one, him who had the legion, sitting and dressed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. And those who saw it related to them what was done to the demon-possessed one and about the pigs. And they began to plead with him to leave their borders. And as he was entering into the boat, he who had been demon-possessed begged him that he might be with him. And Jesus did not allow him, but said to him, 'Go home to your friends and report to him what the teacher has done for you and how he has had compassion on you.' And he left and began to proclaim in Decapolis all that Jesus had done for him, and all marveled." What if Jesus would have said, "That ain't got nothing to do with me, bro"? His name wouldn't have even been preached in Decapolis.
Yeah. But sometimes, that's Jesus. Now, if you talking about, I feel like if you talking about like somebody just randomly on the street and see him, then it's like, yeah, you might try to help him, but if it don't seem like he wants to help or doesn't seem like he's getting it, then at some point you can't keep trying, because then you're gonna get yourself killed for keep trying to try. Because sometimes some people don't want to be fixed or don't want help.
Well, just to break down what you said, Did it seem like this guy wanted to be helped?
I mean, in the beginning, from the verse I read, he didn't say or didn't say anything. All it said that he came and bowed down, but it was the demons talking through him that said, "Please do not torture us."
Mm-hmm.
So
because it's the demons that's behind all the actions, so you don't address the person, which is a part of the moral of this story. You don't address the person because it's not the person's fault.
Yeah, but then also some demons don't be want to leave their vessels.
Did these demons want to leave? Why are you interfering? Do that sound like I want to go somewhere?
That's why I was like, but that's why I said it's Jesus. Like, if it was a regular person,
go to your phone.
If it was a regular person on the street,
go to your phone and type in, "Better things than these will you do."
What?
Better things than these will you do. Mommy, you know where that's at? Mm-hmm. Somewhere in the end of one of these gospels. Y'all know where it's at, but ain't nobody in here, so. Better things than these will you do. Mommy, you got John 5 loaded up for me, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
What am I doing now?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Bible verse in the end of either Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John where Jesus says to his disciples, better things than these will you do. Do you not see anything on there that looks like it's probably?
I'm trying to find a good website. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you,
I feel you. Sometimes
every website.
I mean, okay, yeah, you're right. Do you see that? Or do you see it? Or?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna have my mama start reading, and then I'm gonna find it for you. Mama, start reading John for me, chapter 5. Start at verse 1. Yes, ma'am. We got all the time in the world.
14 minutes. You said 6:30. Why are you looking at it?
Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem.
Turn to John chapter 14:12, Jasmine. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Don't let that happen again.
Mommy, you just started reading.
Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called
Bethsaida.
That ain't what that said.
It's Bethsaida. BETHSAI.
No, ESDA. Bethsaida. And which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. My board is broke up. Where am I reading to here? A great number of disabled people used to lie. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed. Is that the same thing?
No. Blind means you can't see.
Lame
means you can't walk.
Paralyzed
means you can't feel your whole body.
Can't walk. One who has
paraplegic.
One who was there had been an invalid for
What does that mean?
Invalid, same word, spelled the same, just pronounced different. You gotta read the rest. Invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," The invalid replied, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me.
What a story. Of course, we're not done there, but I'd like to ask a few questions. Do y'all understand what he was saying to Jesus? Mm-hmm. What was he saying? It sounded like you said, yeah, I was asking, but you didn't respond. So I'm gonna just, what was he saying?
He was saying that he would, oh no, he wasn't saying that was him. Well, I don't know what Jesus was saying, I guess, but
I'm asking what was he saying to Jesus?
Oh, that he needed help get to the water. No one would help him get to the water. And he had been trying for the longest to get there, but he couldn't because he's.
But why would the water help him? It's just water, right?
Because he feels like the water is going to heal him.
Why is that?
That I don't remember. I'm assuming because he see everybody else trying to get to it.
It was a Jewish tradition because this pool was built by one of the kings. I don't remember. That whenever the water stirred up, that mean an angel from heaven came down and touched the water. And the first person to get into the water, whatever ailment they had, would be healed from the stirring of the water. So that's what he was there for 38 years. Or I mean, he was at least an invalid for 38 years, but he was at the pool for some time. So Jesus walked up and asked him, like, hey, you want to get healed? And bro said, I need to get to the water. He didn't even answer the question. He just said, I need to get to the water. So I'm going to continue reading. Verse 8 says, Jesus said to him, rise, take up your bed and walk. Didn't even acknowledge what bro said, just like he didn't acknowledge what Jesus said. Jesus funny, ain't he? And immediately the man became well, and he took up his bed and was walking. Now it was the Sabbath on that day. The Jews therefore said to him who had been healed, it is the Sabbath. It is not right for you to take up the bed. He answered them, he who made me well said to me, take up your bed and walk. Therefore they asked him, who is the man who said to you, take up your bed and walk? But the one who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had moved away, a crowd being in that place. Afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
See, you have been made well. Sin no more, so that no worse befalls you. I don't have to ask if y'all caught it because I prepared y'all before I said it. So we see that, yes, there are some human actions that lead into demonic influence, demonic possession, ailments, that are influenced by demons, disembodied spirits. But God is over all that. And what did you read in John 14:27? Is that what it was?
John 14:12.
Oh, 12? That's what I said?
Yes.
Okay. What'd it say?
I tell you the truth, anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works, because I am going to be with the Father.
So what does that mean? You can't say, oh, that was Jesus, because Jesus said we're going to do greater things than he even did. And in the back of that same book, John says, if we was to fill up a book with everything that Jesus did, the world wouldn't be able to contain that book. So supposed to be out there zapping people. Get better in the name of Jesus. Do that in the name of Jesus. No more illness in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't be wanting that. I mean, yes, you do the work.
These your examples. The people don't want it, and the demons don't want it.
And it's like, yeah, we could do the work, but there's a lot of crazy people out here when you try to give them help. Like,
did you even hear the conversation that was just held? You want to get better, bro? I don't have nobody to take me to the water. That was a yes or no question. And then he responded back with, bro, just get up and take your bed up. Like, nothing was addressed. Nothing that was said was consistent. None of it made sense. But Jesus still made it happen. And you supposed to be doing better things than that. So, like, why are you waiting for somebody to want it?
I'm not. But
that's what you said. Like, some people don't want it.
Because
demons don't want it.
When you try to help people, they always be like, no, or try to push you away.
So why are you waiting for that?
Try to keep pushing to help them, they still push you away. Sometimes people might even try to put their hands on you for trying to help them. That's just how people are. Sometimes you just gotta step back for a minute to let them figure themselves out. And then when they come back to you and want help, okay. But then if they don't, then they don't. That's just how I see the situation. Because you can try to help people. Because you can try to lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, can you?
I heard that, but I ain't never tried.
I don't have my horse yet.
Somebody told me I can't. Cam, he said he a equestrian on the low. I ain't tried it yet. I'm definitely willing to try to break a horse neck into this river, though.
Oh, my
God. One day. Man. Dreezy, I would like you to turn to Galatians chapter 5 for me. So there are demons everywhere, but influence, coercion, temptation always starts with our own desires and our own choices. So it's not necessarily about what's or if something is demonic. It's more so about whether you gonna follow what God says or you gonna follow your own choices and your own desires, because that's what opens you up for demonic influence. Dreezy, read Galatians 5, verses 19 to 23 for me.
You said what again?
Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 to 23.
And the works of the flesh are well known, which are adultery, whoring, uncleanness, and indecency, adultery, drugs, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, how do you pronounce that?
Dissensions,
and factions, envy, murder, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim.
Pause right there. So it says, it lists all these things, and then it says, if you even do things like these things, then you're practicing in the flesh and you won't inherit the kingdom of heaven. So in that, like you said, people have to want to change, and there is a level of temptation and negative choices that a person has to make to be demonically influenced and ultimately demonically possessed. But even so, as long as the person isn't dead, they're not too far gone. So at the very least, there needs to be an attempt. Continue for me because of this.
But the fruit of the raw is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and trustworthiness. Do I go to 23?
Yes.
Gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no tort.
Mm-hmm. So it says, because we supposed to be walking in the spirit, and the fruits of the spirit are those things: gentleness, love, patience, self-control, all those other things that she read. It's in my bread basket. It's tough. But it is not easy, even for us as believers, to exercise every part of our faith like we're supposed to. And of course, us as teachers, we understand that, but also as teachers, we supposed to encourage you to, you know, encourage you to do it the right way. So read, I want you to go to Romans chapter 8 for me. As teachers, we understand because even God understands. And he makes it very apparent. Chapter 8, yes. Verses 7 to 8. He makes it very apparent that he understands and that this is a struggle and that we have to try. It's not something that's going to come easy. So hit that up for me.
For the sinful nature is always hostile to God. It never did obey God's laws, and it never will. That's why those who are still under the control of their sinful nature can never please God.
Mm-hmm. So, Mama said in the beginning, we born in sin. The sin isn't people are born evil. The born in sin means that we're born with an inclination to sin. It's more than just free will. Our flesh literally desires to do the things that are against God's commands. So he says that, like, I understand that sometimes you're gonna fall, you're not gonna meet the perfect standard. It's gonna be really tough. You're gonna have to try really hard because your body is really not gonna want to do this. You gonna have to live in the spirit and fight against the flesh all the time, which is the next one. I'm gonna go ahead and read this one. We go into Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6. It's literally a fight. It's not something to be taken lightly. We are literally fighting, and we have been since we were born. Chapter 6, verse 12. It says, because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. That means we not arguing, we not fighting, we not quarreling, we not squabbling with people, but against principalities, against authorities, against the world rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual wickedness in the heavens. We're fighting against demonic powers, spiritual powers that are against us, against God, that want to take us to hell with them because they know what their destiny is, because they left their original place in heaven, or they're the offspring of those spirits that left their original place in heaven, and they just misery loves company. We all hear that's exactly what they want. They know they go into hell eventually, and they want all of us to come down there with them. So we have to fight against them and not the people. The people is who we should be expressing love and patience and kindness and peace and all that other good and joy with. And that's all I have for y'all today. So do we think still that, or Jasmine, do you think everything is demonic? Do you think everything is demonic still? Because you had changed your mind in the middle. Mama, has your mind changed? You said no.
Because I'm not demonic. Gospel music, a lot of that doesn't come from demonic individuals. There's a lot of things in this world that...
I think you might have said something a little controversial there. A lot of it doesn't come from demonic individuals?
Aren't demonic.
A lot of it?
Yeah.
Only a lot of it? Not all of it? Oh. Let me know some. Tell the chat. Chat want to know. Chat listen to gospel. Rain down. I gotta stop. I copy struck.
Can I get a witness?
Copy struck. Copy stroked. Dreezy, what do you think? Is everything demonic? You said yes. You said yes again. Everything is demonic. We made a verdict. Majority rules. Well, I thank y'all for chilling with me today. 5 minutes into the Super Bowl. We back at it.